The fluorescent lights above hummed softly as Ethan Cole, billionaire founder and CEO of one of the fastest-growing retail chains in the country, stood quietly outside the employee break room, dressed not in his tailored suits but in a simple store uniform with a name tag that read Eli. For the past 3 weeks, he had been working undercover in his own company, determined to see what really happened beyond polished boardroom reports and filtered performance summaries. He had shaken hands with customers, stocked shelves at midnight, cleaned spills without complaint, and listened more than he spoke. Most employees treated him like any other new hire, some were kind, some indifferent, and a few dismissive. But what he heard that evening stopped him in his tracks. A muffled sob escaped from behind the half-closed break room door. It wasn't loud, but it carried the kind of pain that made the air feel heavier. Ethan hesitated for a moment before gently pushing the door open. Inside, seated on a narrow bench beside the vending machines, was the newest cashier, Lily Martinez. She had started just 4 days ago. Her uniform was neatly pressed, her blonde hair tied into a loose bun, but her shoulders trembled as she tried to wipe away tears with the back of her hand. In front of her sat a small lunch container she hadn't touched. She looked so small in that moment, like the weight of the world had quietly settled on her chest. Ethan felt something shift inside him. As a CEO, he had seen numbers drop, competitors attack, investors threaten, but this was different. This was human. Real. Fragile. He stepped inside slowly. "Hey, you okay?" he asked softly, careful not to startle her. Lily quickly straightened up, embarrassed to be seen. "I'm fine," she whispered, though her red eyes told a different story. Ethan didn't leave. Instead, he sat down a respectful distance away. "First week can be tough," he said gently. She gave a weak smile. "It's not the job," she replied. "I actually like the job." There was a pause. Ethan waited. After a few seconds, she spoke again, her voice trembling. "It's just. I really needed this job. More than anyone here probably knows." Ethan listened carefully. She continued, almost as if she had been holding the words inside for too long. "My mom's been sick for 2 years. I take care of her after my shift. Hospital bills, medication, rent, it all adds up. I had to quit college to work full-time. And today, my landlord said if I can't pay the rest of the rent by Friday, we'll have to leave." Her voice cracked completely now. "I don't know where we'll go." Ethan felt his chest tighten. He had built this company from a tiny warehouse to a national brand worth billions. He had fought through sleepless nights and crushing setbacks. But in all his ambition, had he overlooked the silent battles of the very people who kept his company alive? "I tried picking up extra shifts," Lily continued, staring at her untouched lunch. "But I'm still training. I don't qualify yet. I just feel like I'm failing at everything." Ethan swallowed hard. He remembered his own childhood, his mother working double shifts, his father gone, eviction notices taped to the door. He remembered the helplessness. The shame. The quiet tears he never let anyone see. And suddenly, in that break room, titles didn't matter. Power didn't matter. It was just one human being witnessing another's breaking point. "You're not failing," he said firmly but kindly. "You're fighting." Lily looked up at him, surprised by the strength in his voice. He continued, choosing his words carefully so he wouldn't reveal too much. "Sometimes the strongest people are the ones no one notices. The ones who show up even when life is crushing them." She blinked back fresh tears. "It just feels like no matter how hard I try, it's not enough." Ethan stood slowly. "Stay here," he said. He walked out, his mind racing. Within minutes, he called the regional manager from his private number. "I need you to review emergency employee assistance policies immediately," he instructed. "And I want a hardship support fund activated tonight." The manager was confused but complied. Ethan returned to the break room. Lily had composed herself slightly, though her eyes still held worry. "Listen," he said gently. "This company, it has resources. More than most employees realize. There are support programs for emergencies." She shook her head. "I don't want charity." Ethan smiled softly. "It's not charity. It's investment. In good people. The next morning, the store manager called Lily into the office. Ethan watched quietly from the sales floor. When she stepped out 15 minutes later, her hands were shaking, but this time, not from fear. The company would cover 2 months of her rent through an emergency hardship grant. They would also provide medical assistance resources for her mother and offer flexible scheduling so she could manage both work and caregiving. Lily scanned the store, overwhelmed, trying to understand what had just happened. Her eyes found Ethan's across the aisle. She walked toward him slowly. "Did you know about this?" she asked. Ethan shrugged lightly. Good companies take care of good people. Tears filled her eyes again, but this time they were different. "You have no idea what this means." Ethan felt something inside him break open. He did know. Because years ago, someone had done something similar for his mother, a small act that changed everything. That kindness had fueled his ambition to build something bigger. But somewhere along the way, profits and expansion had overshadowed purpose. Until now. That afternoon, Ethan ended his undercover assignment early. The following week, the company announced a nationwide employee support initiative, expanded healthcare access, hardship grants, and tuition reimbursement for workers who wanted to return to school. During the leadership meeting, Ethan spoke plainly, "We don't build a company. We build people. And people build the company." But the most powerful moment came 2 months later. Lily, now confident and smiling, balanced work and online classes again thanks to the tuition program. Her mother's condition had stabilized. She approached Ethan, this time knowing exactly who he was after the public announcement revealing his undercover journey. "I didn't know you were the CEO," she said softly. Ethan smiled. "I didn't want you to." She nodded. "That night in the break room. I felt invisible. But you saw me." Ethan's voice grew quiet. No one working this hard for someone they love is invisible. As Lily walked back to her register, greeting customers with genuine warmth, Ethan realized something profound: leadership wasn't about authority. It was about awareness. It was about stepping into the break room when you hear someone crying instead of walking past the door. That night, alone in his office, Ethan looked out over the city skyline and whispered to himself, "Never forget why you started." And if this story touched your heart, if you believe kindness and leadership can still change lives, then make sure you subscribe to this channel. Because here, we don't just tell stories about success. We tell stories about humanity, resilience, and the moments that remind us what truly matters. Subscribe now and be part of a community that believes compassion is the greatest power of all.